Okay, welcome to another edition of the Hicksey podcast, episode number 37. That's right, we just said that. I keep forgetting. I forget every time. But we are on episode 37, Chrono Chronicles number 7. We got Joe Kometz. We got David Selfie, the usual squad here. And another exciting day for the podcast. So, Dave, you're the one who's coming up with all these topics today. So, how about you start us off?
Well, guys, let's talk about North Korea right now. I'm hearing different things, different sources here and there. People are saying the leader of, if you don't know, the leader of North Korea is Kim Jong-un, whatever.
Ooh?
Yeah. I always keep thinking ill because that's his his grandfather or something like that, or father, whatever. Yeah, I'm hearing rumors that he's either dead in a vegetative state or like he's alive and just like hiding. So I don't know what the reports. I don't know what is what or what's real or what's not real anymore. But yeah, I don't because what do you guys think so far? What do you guys think is the deal right now? We don't really have any concrete news, but what do you guys speculations?
I don't know.
Yeah, like you said, I mean,
I don't work for the FBI, so I don't know.
Yeah.
True.
My big thing is until I see it confirmed, Kim Jong-un is dead. He's still alive. He's still their leader. He's still, an asshole. North Korea still sucks.
Oh, Jesus.
And they're going to get... I mean, it's true. We always say, North Korea is so cool. No, they're not.
No one said
They're
that.
not.
I've never heard anyone say North Korea is cool.
But, it's whatever. Kim Jong-un, if he's dead, that could, that people are like, oh, if he dies, that's good. It might not be good in the long run because depending on who takes over, the country could become a lot worse. And then, next thing you know, they might just start they might start a war. Now, I'm not saying with us, but if they could start a war with Russia, they could start a war with China. They basically hate the three most powerful countries in the world. So, they're kind of in a rock and a hard place, but they're so crazy that they think their president and that family are all gods. So, who knows? Who knows what will happen?
Yeah.
I think one take I saw on the internet that was a hot take was like someone said that North Korea is more progressive because they're gonna have a female leader before the United States will. Guys.
Dave, you go first.
Well, I mean, doesn't really matter. It doesn't. I mean, I don't really care what gender the president is. Just are they qualified for the job, and will they ruin the country or make it prosper? I don't know. I don't know if she has any background in politics. She probably does, but like not like good politics. Probably all crooked politics. But I have no idea. So I mean, it's anyone's guess really at this point. But
if this person thinks that North Korea is more progressive than the United States because of this, they're on crack. They're on drugs.
Yeah.
Because you're good. If you think North Korea is so much more progressive, go to North Korea. Please live in North Korea for the rest of your life. We don't need you. Goodbye. We don't need it. That's ridiculous.
Don't they have one internet server and they monitor everything and everything?
Probably. I don't know, Dave.
That's it's a bad.
Well, we control everything that the people see too. You can't go on Google and look things up. It's like North Korea Google. We think North Korea is Google. We think the name is for it.
Glue. I don't know.
Glue. I like it.
I couldn't tell you.
But I also saw because I for some odd reason for the longest, this was back in a couple of months ago, I spent the longest time just looking at North Korea stuff. And I saw a fact that obviously the propaganda they have, Kim Jong-un's poster just posted everywhere, basically like everywhere you go you're gonna see his face there. And I also heard that I'm not sure if they have one university or one college or whatever, but only the elite people go there. You have to be part of that the top group in order to go there. If you don't,
I think you could get in, Dave.
Probably, yeah, I think so.
I think they'd want you.
It's a very prestigious university.
And they got,
all the D1 athletes go there.
Yeah, I was gonna say if they got football there. I mean, if they got football there, man, I'll be there. I'll be their kicker.
Ohio State's football team has nothing on this college.
I mean, they would win all the games because it's just one college, but
it's only one college, so they just dominate. They've been number one.
That's how they do it.
Killer.
Number one team in Asia. Fucking not even they don't even have a country, the entire continent.
Yeah,
entire hemisphere.
No, we should all just go there and just just take it over, play football, become experts and
get educated.
Exactly.
Let's do it.
I'm down.
Yeah. Oh, also my other topic too for today was unless because you guys have more stuff to say about North Korea or
nothing else to say.
All right. The other topic is in our group chat today, whatever the name is, we always change it. We someone posted, I forgot who posted the thing, but
I think Joe Shea sent it.
Yeah. If you could post it, I'll put a picture on the thing later on to show like what it is. But could you just
Okay, you want me to read what it is?
Yeah, read what it is, please. Joe.
All right, so this is a big embrace debate moment. You have to pick 2 of these things, and then the rest of it, or they're going to come and kill you. Either 50 hawks, 10 alligators, 3 bears, 7 bulls, 1 Chris Kyle, 15 wolves, 10,000 rats, 5 gorillas, or 4 lions. You have to pick 2 of them to defend you. Then the rest are coming to kill you.
Oh, I need Chris Kyle.
Yeah, Chris Kyle's an automatic.
Chris Kyle,
yeah.
Everyone's picking that.
I think Chris Kyle, he can definitely, depending on where he's marked, he can take out. The problem is, we're talking some serious animals, and if, Chris Kyle can only do so much if we have, all the rats coming at us and all the, I'm gonna have to read this myself because there's a lot of animals. There's a lot of animals said there, and a lot of them I forgot.
Yeah, actually,
when you guys pull it up, because I have my choice,
right.
And some people might think it's a bit crazy, but when you actually think about it, it kind of makes a lot of sense. But when you guys pull it up, then we'll discuss. As you can tell, quarantine is starting to get to everybody when this is like a big news.
This is big. Yeah.
You know what? Whatever. This is actually fun. So
10 alligators.
You'd pick 10 alligators? Is that what you're going with?
I don't know though.
Yeah, but alligators are only mobile. If you pick 10 alligators are only mobile in water. Like then you'd have to be in the water setting, or else they'll be useless, basically. Alligators. They're no joke. They're strong animals. But
those things are killers, man.
Only in water though. Like they walk very slow. They can't sprint. So like you could snipe them from a mile away.
10,000 rats.
That's the problem.
The thing is, if this question all depends on if you also get a weapon. Because like if I get a gun, hear me out here. I'm taking Chris Kyle and the 10,000 rats. And here's why. You know how hard it's going to be if 10,000 rats are coming to kill you? I don't care how good of a sniper Chris Kyle is and how much ammo or how powerful your gun is. Eventually, a couple of rats are going to get through and start biting you. And then, even if you fend them off, you're probably going to die of disease. So that's why, I would take Chris Kyle and 10,000 rats. Because then the toughest problem from there would be the 50 hawks. Because at the end of the day, that's the thing. You're probably
going to
can't
even fathom how many 10,000. You can fathom 50 hawks. You can fathom 10 alligators. You can fathom 3 bears. But 10,000 rats?
Exactly. That number's... Yeah. Dave, what are you going to go?
Okay, well, I was going to ask a couple more questions. Now, regarding to this thing now, is this like, are we being placed in an island and all these creatures are coming at us? Or like, what's the setting here? Like, are we in a city? What's the setting? Use
your imagination, dude.
Use your imagination. Wherever the most ideal defense is for you.
All right, let's say like the wilderness or some like jungle or whatever. All right. Me personally, obviously Chris Kyle, because Chris Kyle's Chris Kyle. I want to pick the 50 hawks, because what I could do is, we'll find a nice hiding spot. I'll hide. Chris Kyle and I will go hide somewhere, right? And I'll have the hawks, because they could, nothing else could really like come up in the air and do anything.
Well, you would want to stay away from Chris Kyle. You want Chris Kyle to be up high.
Yeah, exactly.
You could also strategize with Chris Kyle. You cannot strategize with a bear.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, let's be realistic.
Yeah.
Chris Kyle is the clear off the board first pick. There's no question about that. But then from there, but then it all depends on how good of a shot you are. Because most likely, regardless of what happens, this is going to turn into you guys ever play Halo Reach?
Yes,
the last mission, the Lone Wolf mission, when you got to fight off all the Covenant and then you eventually die.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what would happen here regardless. Because Chris Cole would what, Dave?
If you strategize well enough, though, I feel like because hear me out too.
In
the only animals
what
on here.
world?
Oh, listen. The only animals here though that you could train realistically would be the hawks.
What about the wolves? You can't train a wolf like a dog.
Wolves are. I mean, they're wild animals. I mean, they're. I mean, obviously you could train a wolf, but like, it takes a lot more effort.
So I just did some quick math here.
All right.
If you take the 10,000 rats and Chris Kyle, there are 94 total animals coming at you. That's because that's 50 hawks, 10 alligators, 15 wolves, 7 bulls, 5 gorillas, 4 lions, and 3 bears.
But are the rats going to defend you though? Like, what are they going to do to defend you? The thing is, like, the 10,000 rats. It's just better them going, I guess, not after you, because you have 10,000 rats coming at you.
That's why That's why I picked the rats, because they're not going to really do much in terms of defense besides probably distract the hawks for a while. But you know how much of a bitch it's going to be to kill 10,000 rats? That's so 10,000.
It's a lot.
I'm going with you, Joe. I like Chris Kyle 10,000 rats. The rats is just too. The number is just insane.
It's the number. It's if it was like 100 rats, I'd be like, okay, give me probably after that. Honestly, the next best pick would probably be the hawks, because you have 50 hawks. They're going to be moving targets like more than an animal, so that's going to be tough to defend against. You know what I mean? Then you probably would go after that the gorillas or the bears, or you know what I mean?
The bears are like. You have a bear coming at you. Whew.
Well, because my thing. Sorry.
What?
My logic was I would train like the hawks in that brief span period or whatever to like target the rats, maybe drop them off in the ocean or whatever, like one by one. Obviously, it's gonna take, it's gonna be a bitch, but and then like whilst that's happening, Chris Kyle and I will just be sniping the animals one on one. So like we'll just be sniping them one by one rather. And then, by the time it's over, they're all going to be dead. The only thing I really have to worry about was the alligators, because they're underwater. I can't really, you could snipe them underwater or whatever, but yeah, that's my logic. And my problem would be the bull and the bears, because bears have very thick, skin. So do bulls too. Well, not that thick, but, still thick enough. So I don't know.
That's the thing though. If you get a gun, you could start unloading. You'd probably want to kill the bears first.
Yeah, because they'll be the most problem out of all of them.
Then the bulls would be tough because they'd be charging you. I think this would turn into almost like this would almost turn into like a running, like you're like on the run as all these animals are chasing you, because I don't know about standing your ground. When a big silverback gorilla comes up to you, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Those things are. I was watching some. I was just watching like gorillas, just kind of like on the Discovery Channel. Those things are crazy, man. Those things are huge. The big boys.
They're strong.
Got the lions. I think you're dying either way. You're dying in this.
I guess the safest bet would be the Chris Kyle and the rats, because at least you have a chance. I mean, you definitely have a chance for the most part.
Because the rats, like we were talking about this group chat. Our friend Carter was like, "Oh, one rat's not going to kill you." Yeah, one rat, but there's 10,000 rats. You know how much 10,000?
Fun fact too, rats could they could basically they could gnaw their way through metal and whatever, so they have very strong. I mean, yeah, they're tiny and whatever, but they have very strong teeth and whatever. They could put some damage on you. Plus, you have to factor in the disease cost and aspect of it. What if this thing bites you and you're fine for whatever? Then all of a sudden you get sick from something, So.
And let's geek out here. So I did the division here, 10,000 rats, and I said, there's 93 animals coming at you. You divide 10,000 by 93. So for every animal, you can assign 107 rats to attack that animal.
Yeah, but
it's a lot of rats. Even 107.
Yeah, but would the rats be able to fathom that? Will they be able to
That's the thing. The rats are not smart.
They're not smart.
That's really.
Well, the whole point is, this is saying, once again, this is a hypothetical thing, but they're saying that they'll defend you. So I'm assuming that you can somehow communicate with these animals to, hey, defend me.
All right.
You know what I'm saying?
Kind of like Ant-Man, with
Kind of,
the bugs.
I guess
Yeah,
that's fair.
because in reality, once again, you can make the
Yeah, because
argument.
if you could do that, I think you definitely pick the rats, just because again of the quantity of them. Because even against the line, you get 109 rats coming at them.
Yeah, the lion would be, try to attack them.
The issue would be the hawks. The
Yeah, the
hawks
hawks
would
and the
take those rats
crocodiles.
out.
The hawks and the crocodiles, because crocodiles have very thick hides.
Once again, though,
Yeah.
Dave, it would turn into a thing. So the rats would just
But
kind of
Chris Kyle-
confuse. What you're saying?
Kyle could take him out from the sky, though. I feel like he'd be good at that.
Yeah. What I would do is this is now the rats. Okay, so even now, okay, let's take away the 50. So we're just doing the land animals here now. Let me do my addition quick. So we have 10, 20, 35, 44. So 10.
Joe.
So 10,000 divided by 44. That's 227 rats per land, animal that's attacking us. The 50 hawks we'll have to deal with on our own later. But that's for every land animal, because they would get distracted by the rats. Because the lions would be like, okay, I got to kill these things. And while they're distracted, you and Chris Cobb can start picking them off one by one. Then the real problem is going to be when the hawks are starting to swoop down at you and try to kill you. Because that's when you're going to be like, all right, I might die. Because in reality, though, Chris Kyle, you can almost have Chris Kyle focus more on the animals and you focus on the hawks. Because in this hypothetical, because they're defending you, no one's going to be going for Chris Kyle. You know what I mean? Especially if he's, half a mile away up in his little perch, just picking everyone off one by one. So I think at the end of the day here, the rats and Chris Kyle is the move.
Yeah, I think so too. I was trying to make an argument for the Hawks, but then the more I break it down in my head, the more I'm thinking the rats. I have a chance with the rat and Chris Kyle.
All right, I got another question, because this made me think of this hypothetical that was on one of the other podcasts I listened to, KFC Radio. So here it is: if you were a war general in the Civil War and had the choice to bring back a modern day tank or a T-Rex to battle, which one would you bring? Think about it.
I have my answer, but Dave, I want to hear what you got to say first this time.
T-Rex or a tank?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of a no-brainer. So I'll go with a tank, because I'm trying to think of a model. I don't know any modern tanks, but the one that's we used in the Iraq wars or whatever, of those tanks. Because
I'm looking up what it is.
Yeah, but no, because tanks. Okay, so you have the thing that shoots the giant bullets or rounds or whatever, the tank itself. And you can put some guns on the sides, right? And then kind of just call it a day. Just kind of spin around and just take everyone out, take out strongholds and things like that. T-Rex, it's a very tough animal. Yeah, don't get me wrong, but one good shot, and those back in the day, those Civil War guns, the bullets in them were ginormous. So I feel like one good shot to the legs or whatever, and the T-Rex is done and it's over.
Listen, I understand that. I mean, I completely get that. Yes, if you had the tank, you'd be safe, and yeah, you probably, with one single tank, take out 30,000 people in the Civil War. That being said, though, as far as legacy is concerned, if you come on the back of a Tyrannosaurus Rex in the 1800s, imagine that picture. Imagine that picture in the history book. General Matthew Hicks rallied the troops in the Gettysburg War on the back of a Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Yo.
It mauls the front lines of the Confederates.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine that.
For a legacy pick, yeah, 100%. The T-Rex will give you the legacy. And
sure.
Honestly, it'll give you the fear factor. Because, if I'm being honest, at first glance, even, 1875, imagine the three of us, with our rifles on the front line. And we see a tank, it's kind of like, man, what's that shiny thing? But you see a T-Rex, you're like, nope. But at the end of the day, I'm with Dave. I would also pick the tank because, the tank is, would be a much stronger thing. And if you even look back, when the first ironclads fought in the Civil War, the cannons literally were bouncing off the metal. I couldn't even imagine now. You get the strongest cannon in the Civil War, boom, just bounce right off that tank. You would probably do more damage to the troops by bouncing the cannon shells off the tank.
It'd ricochet back to them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
but Matt, I do agree. The T-Rex, that would be
that'd be something else.
That, you know what? That picture would just be unreal.
Yeah.
People wouldn't believe it, and they'd be like, "Oh my god!"
Well, yeah, you see from the horizon, and you see this roaring animal, just giant animal roaring. It's like, holy shit! What do I do?
They would have statues of me just everywhere.
Oh, you'd be a god. You kidding me? You'd be a god. You'd probably rule the whole country at that point.
They'd name like an airport after me. I feel like.
Yeah. Oh, but the probably name and start just like.
That's the dream.
That's the dream. If you have an airport named after you, you're like, you made it, man.
Alright guys, Dave here. This is the part of the podcast where we interview soccer star Gill Hotchkiss. Enjoy.
We are live with special guest Gill Hotchkiss. Gill, welcome to the podcast. What's going on?
Thanks for having me, guys. I love this. This is awesome.
Dave?
I'm really stoked to have you on here, honestly. We've been trying to get this done for a very long time now, but like I said, with school and stuff before, it was kind of hard to do anything, but, now we have free time now. I was like, screw it, why not do it now,
Yeah.
So, Joe, what have you been doing during the whole quarantine thing? You've been doing, have you been going out at all, or are you just staying inside?
Honestly, I haven't really done much. You know what I did? I'm a DoorDash driver. I kid you not.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No way.
I literally was just doing it right now. So I deliver food and everything. And I've done it for 2 weeks. In the 2 weeks, I've made $600.
Well, I may have to quit my job and start doing DoorDash now. Holy cow.
I've been doing a lot.
How do you get paid? Is it basically how does that work?
So there's a base pay that they pay you, and it depends on how far you have to drive. But I honestly drive no more than 10 minutes. So base pay is $3 or $4, and then there's a peak pay depending on how busy it is out, and then it's whatever the customer decides to tip you. So per order, I make $10 or $11 per order.
It's not bad.
No.
Especially if you do like you said, it's a busy Friday night, and I'm sure a lot of people now are ordering out even more than usual. Now since they obviously can't go out, so I'm sure, you're getting a lot of deliveries.
Yeah, no, I've gotten so many orders because everyone's home and no one can go out or out to eat or anything. But I usually make around $35 to $40 an hour, which is crazy.
That's insane.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm actually jealous right now. Oh God. What's the furthest place you've driven to so far?
I usually do it just around in the valley. The farthest I've driven is Monroe, but that was maybe 12, 15 minutes.
Oh, okay. That's not that bad. I thought Monroe was further.
No.
All right, Jill. So obviously, you're on the soccer team for Southern. Is that correct?
Yes.
Actually, I know that's correct because the reason why you're on. So from what I understand, because I saw this video, I was in this documentary class. So I believe it must have been either your freshman year. You guys were not very good, right? Weren't you guys almost? Didn't you guys only win one game or something like that?
Yeah, we won, I think, around just 3 games. It was the worst record that they've ever had in conference history.
Right, but didn't you guys that next season, you guys bounced back in a big way, is that correct?
Yeah, it was actually this year we made it all the way to the conference championship.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it was a huge, huge turnaround within 2 years.
So how do speak about the different culture change, from that year, from going to 3 wins to automatically within a year or two, obviously being one of the better teams in the conference.
Yeah, no, I think the first year we got off to a really bad start, and I mean, a lot of people on the team, when you start to lose game after game after game, a lot of people kind of fall off board, and a lot of people aren't really, as committed as they should be. We had a lot of people showing up late to practices. We had a few people miss the bus going to games. It was just a really negative, atmosphere. There was a lot of fighting between teammates. And I think that year when everyone, the seniors that year graduated, we actually got a coach that kind of coached us through team goals and coming up with like adapting a new team culture. And he really helped us, and we came up with like standards that we wanted to hold the team to. And it was just like a group decision that everyone kind of got around that. This is something that we want to do. We didn't just come play college soccer just to play. It's because we want to do something with it and we want to win. So, everyone kind of got around that, and we just kept going up from there. And now this year we finished second in the conference, which is awesome.
Would you say it was the coach's fault? Like, he didn't have any like set rules or whatever, because you have people missing practices and stuff like that. Would you say it was his mismanagement of the team before, or just the old coach rather, just mismanagement? Or
it's funny you say that, because at Southern there's some teams that have a drinking rule for their team. It's in season, no drinking whatsoever. And we are actually one of the only teams that adopted that rule, and our coach was very, very strict about that rule. So it was no drinking in general. And the year that we had lost all those games, the upcoming next season, our assistant coaches and some of our captains had gone to talk to him about, maybe possibly changing that rule, because along with it, it was like, you're not allowed to go out in general. And I feel like that took a lot away from our team, from us being able to like bond and get to know each other.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, 100%. And it definitely affected us. And then they were able to convince him actually to, get rid of the rule. And that's when honestly we saw a huge turnaround and just friendships, like bonds getting stronger with everyone. Everyone wanted to play for each other at that point, which I think helped us a lot.
Yeah, because if there's no chemistry in the beginning, then you guys cannot really flourish and do well. So like, the chemistry is the key for like a sports team like that,
Yeah, 100%.
Well, that's interesting. That's interesting to hear that, you guys kind of go from a non-drink. You think it'd be the other way around, right? You think it'd be like, you guys, I don't know, the team that struggled, you guys, got too distracted. You guys were going out too much. But it was actually the opposite way, right? It was the other way around. You guys weren't going out. And do you think that created a lot of tension within the locker room? Because you guys were obviously probably you guys were obviously on a bad team. And I'm sure a lot of people dreaded going to practices and such, and they didn't really have an out, right? So you guys just had the only time you ever saw these people were when you were, at practice or at games. So.
Oh, yeah. Especially because we were losing a lot. Is like, oh, we have practice. Oh, we have a game. No one really felt that they wanted to be a part of the team. When the coaches were talking, no one really bought into anything that they said. And we actually had an issue my freshman year where I think a group of 6 or 7 people actually broke the drinking rule. And our coach ended up finding out about it. And he punished us as a team, through like conditioning, extra practices, things like that. So we were actually surprised that he was, willing to get rid of it the following year. But I think people were so scared and like that they had to tiptoe around him all the time and things like that. So once he got rid of it, things got so much better.
Yeah, no, it does make sense.
Wait, hold on. You still have the same coach though?
Yeah, still the same coach. He's been the coach for like 15 years. Yeah.
Oh, wow. I thought you meant you'd switch coaches.
Yeah,
like
I thought you
freshman.
did too.
Oh, okay.
No, yeah, same coach.
So I guess in that point, it's more the players that really changed the culture though, then, right?
Yeah, I think once that group of seniors left, because they were the ones that broke the drinking rule, and they kind of, once our fall season was over for them, there's no really them playing in the spring. So they kind of left us, out to dry, because we had to deal with all the repercussions of what they did. And I think once they left, we were like, we have to do this for each other. We have to change. And it was really the group that they left behind that really made all those changes.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
So, Joe, obviously you were a big soccer star back at Woodland. Talk about maybe the recruitment process. How did you get, associated with Southern, and kind of just explain that whole recruiting process that you went through?
Yeah, so the recruiting process for a lot of people is different. I think a lot of people think it's one thing and it's actually another. Generally for soccer, especially for girls, it starts really early on. So your freshman year, you're really starting to look at what schools you want to go to, why you want to go to them. And then by my sophomore year is when I started going to ID camps, So some of them are overnight, some of them are one day. It's just basically playing with the teams, getting to know the coaches, and then usually create like a shorter and shorter list of schools that you want to go to. And then you just keep emailing schools. I know I reached out to a bunch of schools, and then most people that are trying to play in college, they play club soccer in addition to high school soccer. So that's something that I did. And usually there's different levels of club soccer. So like the higher levels are like MPL and ECNL. And those are usually the levels that college coaches go to watch. It's more like D3 schools that go and watch the lower level club teams. So I played for FSA and CFC, which are FSA is in Farmington and CFC is based out of like Hamden, New Haven area. So I've had like all my club coaches are college coaches. One of my club coaches was the Yale coach for women. One was the Fairfield coach. And they kind of guide you through the process, and they reach out to coaches for you and talk to them. And then basically what happens is you go to like college showcases that'll have upwards of 50 coaches there, and you kind of give them your schedule, and they'll come if they want to see you play. And then they'll reach out to you afterwards if they're interested in you. And it was typically my junior year is when I started getting like offers from different schools. And then at that point, it's just kind of up to you to decide where you would like to go.
Yeah, that's actually a really good question. A good segue, rather. Why did you decide on going? Why did you decide on Southern? Why did you decide on going to that school for soccer?
I had actually gotten offers from a whole bunch of different schools. UNH was another one. I got an offer from the coach at Marist, which is in New York. And I think Southern it was close to home, and it was honestly really affordable for me. And I got into the honors college at Southern, so they were able to pay for a really large part of my tuition, which was a really big part of me going to Southern. And I think something that like not a lot of people realize is that nowadays, like D1, D2, D3, sometimes there's like D3 schools that are better than, D1 schools. Especially Southern, we compete in the NE10 conference, which is actually the number one D2 conference in the nation. And I mean, in the spring, we scrimmage all D1 teams. We played Quinnipiac, Yale, Fairfield, Central, Sacred Heart, and I mean, we've beaten all of them upwards.
Wow.
5-0. Yeah.
Wow.
So there's not
domination right there.
Yeah. Sometimes there's really not much of a difference between, I mean, you could say you go D1, D2, D3, but you can have teams that are a lot better on a different level that can, play with these other girls and actually beat them.
Yeah. That's interesting you say that, because kind of baseball is that same way. A lot of guys, so kind of what they do is, if you're really good, actually most players just go to a D2 college, go to a JUCO college. That way you can only do 2 years, then you can go back into like the major league draft. So it's interesting that you say, because most people, they just watch basketball and they watch football, which is typically D1 better than D2 schools. But yeah, it's interesting that you say that you play schools like you said, Quinnipiac, and you're not just beating them, but you're dominating them every single time. So
yeah, and that's usually something that I tell people, and they're kind of like shocked and taken back by that. But yeah, it's really how it is, because sometimes there's girls that get onto certain club teams, and it's kind of like if you're on MPL or ECNL, it's kind of a way like for college coaches to know, oh, you're a D1 player or you're a D2 level player, so they'll only go and watch those teams. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you're a better player than someone that maybe can't afford to play at that club level and get that exposure. So yeah.
All right. Pretty cool. So, Joe, I feel like you're obviously a student athlete. I feel like there's a lot of, what's the word I just had in my head? There's a lot of, like, people think it's like great being like a student athlete, but on the other hand, obviously it's extremely difficult. So you kind of talk maybe some difficulties that you go through, being a student athlete.
Oh yeah, for sure. I feel like, honestly, the biggest thing is like academic athletic balance. I mean, I practiced upwards of like 3 times a day, depending if it's season, out of season. Yeah, especially my team, we have practice 5 o'clock in the morning outside every spring, and then we come back in the afternoon. We have lifting sessions, and then again at night we have another, like conditioning running session. So.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I mean, I do see why you guys are destroying every other competition basically out there, because that's a lot of practice right there. Oh my God.
Practice like 20 hours a day. But no, yeah, it's true. And a part of that is like you can't show up to practice 5 minutes before. We're required to be there an hour before practice. You have to go in the locker room. You have to get equipment. Now you have to set up equipment. Yeah, you have to go in the training room, check in. There's a lot more to it than I think people think there is. And that's just for people that want to be on the same base as everyone. If you're trying to like improve yourself, then you have to go and do extra on your own, extra work, extra time in the gym on top of that. So, I mean, it's a lot during the day, especially when we're in season. This season was a huge like travel season for us. We travel upwards of like 6 hours away sometimes, and we have a lot of overnights, so we're missing days of school. So we have to prepare for exams ahead of time, take tests early. It's difficult to do homework on the bus. So there's like a lot of different challenges that we face. And I feel like with that too is that we miss out on a really big social aspect of school too. I mean, I've never attended my school's homecoming because we've had an away game every weekend that we've had homecoming. I've always been away. I mean, there's other teams at Southern that don't have a lot of like rules and regulations about going out, but like when we're in season, we can only go out if it's 72 hours before one of our games. So that gives us a limited time that we can actually go out and do things. And honestly, at the end of the day, I'm so exhausted that I don't even want to do anything.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to do anything either.
Yeah, that's fair. That's nuts.
Especially 5 a.m. I can't imagine. How do you get up that early? Especially after you just practiced the night before.
Oh my God, it's really, really rough. We actually had to talk to our coach this season to see if he would like make it a little less, so we go at 6 now instead of 5.
Still pretty early, but I mean, I guess that hour different. Yeah, it's not that bad, but man, oh my God. So how do you achieve?
Good. Dude.
I was gonna ask you, how do you achieve the balance between like the academics and the sports, because that must be hard, to do, because if I had to do that, I'd probably be flunking my classes. I got to be honest with you. So how are you achieving that balance? What's the secret?
I think it's something that I was already kind of used to in high school, because high school, I mean, I would have practice and then I would go to club practice after, and I'd be getting home 10, 11 o'clock at night and still have to do homework and prepare for school the next day. So it's kind of something I was already used to. In club travel, I've traveled to like California, Florida, Texas, like to play tournaments and things like that. So I was used to traveling and having to, be out of school for sometimes and have my work done ahead of time and tests and things like that. So I think I was already kind of adjusted to it before I went, which was helpful. Yeah.
Makes sense. Yeah, because if you can't just kind of walk into that situation and expect to thrive, basically, so.
Oh yeah, and I feel like there's a lot of girls that actually come into it and don't expect it to be as much of it as it is. Every year we have, I say, maybe about 3 freshmen that quit the team or transfer out every year.
Yeah, I can imagine, because that must be something. I mean, you obviously said like you're prepared for it, but for someone that probably they just played high school and then during maybe the winter or the spring they played travel, only did like one at a time, didn't have that crazy schedule like you. I'm sure that first year is a culture shock for them, where it's either they probably just can't find the balance between schoolwork and obviously athletics, or they probably just get worn down from it at that point.
Oh yeah, I think since I've been there, we've lost maybe 10 or 12 girls, and we've had girls that, it's not even Southern, it's just that they can't handle soccer in school, and they still go to Southern, but they don't play soccer. And we've had girls that quit for a season and then decide they want to come back and try it again. We've had that too. So yeah.
Wow.
Oh. Yeah, see, being an athlete, Dave, it's not what it's all No,
You know what?
you know?
Maybe I shouldn't be an athlete. You know, maybe I should just stick to just what I'm doing right now.
Just stick to the calisthenics at home, Dave.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, I think because I couldn't possibly fathom that because I did high school sports, football for a little bit, and I mean I didn't play for long, obviously you know that, but that like brief period of time my grades were slipping because I wasn't, you know, I'd come home from football exhausted, and the first thing I would do is eat, and then like fall asleep, and like the homeworks would just be piling up, so I didn't have time to do any of it because I was tired. But I honestly, I have tremendous respect for you for doing all that because that's a lot dedication right there.
It really is. It's a lot.
All right, Dave. You got any more questions? I'm out.
Well, I mean, it's kind of just questions like things like why did you get into what made you like get into soccer, like kind of like your early beginnings, what kind of got you into the whole sports of soccer, because it's a very interesting and fun sport. But what basically set your path to this career or goal or whatever career you're having right now?
That's a good question. I mean, it wasn't like I chose soccer because I feel like I started playing at an age where like my parents told me to play soccer.
Mm-hmm.
No, but I started really, really young, and I feel like off the bat it was something that I was pretty good at. Mm-hmm. So I didn't really, go to explore other sports until I was older. So I played rec soccer, in Prospect when I was younger, and then I started to play travel. And then what really happened was I had gone to a tournament at FSA, which is in Farmington, and we played against their premier level club team. And they destroyed us like 10. And that's kind of when I and like my parents had the realization that there's a lot more out there as far as soccer, and there's like really competitive teams that like push you to be better and really push to develop people. And then after that, I had gone to try out for their team, and I joined their team, and I stayed with them for a few years. And then from there, I wanted to, I was like, college soccer is really something that I want to do. Mm-hmm. And it's something that I'm good at, and I think I could, excel at that level. And then at that point is when I switched over club teams that had a lot of their coaches were all women's, college soccer coaches, and they really knew what to do and like the atmosphere and the recruiting process. So that's kind of how I got to that point. But I love it. I love it. And my brother plays too, so it's like my whole.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. Wow. That's awesome. I was also going to ask you, what other sports do you play through your athletic career? What other sports have you been you dabble in?
I dabbled in. I did play basketball throughout middle school. I played basketball throughout middle school, and then freshman year, I was gonna play basketball in high school. I actually played like the summer league with the whole team and everything. I was really excited about it. Mm-hmm. And it was kind of like club soccer is so strict, where like if you get on the bad side of a coach, there's like the possibility of you not playing. So, club soccer runs all year round. So in the winter when basketball is, we have indoor soccer, and it was basically like I had to make the decision, either play basketball or you don't play soccer. And I wasn't really in a position where I could take off for so long from soccer because it's not something that you want to fall behind in. But I played summer league basketball again my sophomore year, and then the same thing with track. Track is something that I always wanted to run in high school, but I couldn't because of soccer. But since I was recruited already in my senior year, I was able to do indoor and outdoor track, which I really liked a lot.
And you were very good because I remember you just destroy the competition. I remember the relays. It'd be like, all right, I think you were the starter. Were you the starter or the beginning person? Yeah. So all of a sudden, I'm there watching. All of a sudden, you see the thing go off. And you were like basically at the end handing the baton on to someone else. And I'm like, oh my God, what happened? You were very fast, so.
Yeah, sure. I wish track was something that I was able to do, earlier on, so that I could, it was something that I could keep getting better at. I wish it was something that I just didn't do my senior year. But I also got into boxing too.
Boxing?
Yeah. Like my sophomore year. And that's something I kind of did on my own outside of school, which I really, really liked. And I think once soccer is over, that's something that I'm gonna get back into full time.
Wow.
Yeah.
You gotta teach.
How'd you get into boxing?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really funny that you asked me. I started watching a lot of like UFC fights my sophomore year, and that kind of led me into Ronda Rousey, and I love Ronda Rousey.
She's an animal.
Oh yeah, so I talked to my mom, and I was like, I want to do UFC fighting, and she was like, you are not doing UFC fighting over my dead body, and I was like, I want to do something, like let me do something. So we kind of looked at different options that I could do, and I, came across boxing and kickboxing, and it's something that like I fell in love with and I really, really enjoy. And it's definitely something that's a lot harder than I thought it was. It's probably one of the hardest workouts I've ever done in my entire life, for sure.
Yeah, that's a serious cardio workout, right, Dave?
Of course, because we have these tournaments sometimes once in a while, boxing things, and even the punching bags, the punching bags we have down the Carter's house. Those like doing it for like a minute or two, and you're winded. Like it's ridiculous.
It's tough. It's so tough.
You gotta teach me some moves because I need to learn something because I'm not that good. I have all this power, but I just cannot use it.
Yeah, Dave certainly has power, but Dave, when he boxes. Yeah, he leaves his stomach open, so I can kind of just I can score there.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know the moves.
You guys should train. That'd be interesting.
Please, I need to train. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Dave,
like a Rocky.
And then set up a fight, and then I'll fight you.
Oh, I'm down. That'd be a main card right there. That'd be that's pay-per-view right there.
I'd lose for sure, 100%, 100%, no doubt. I'd be out.
Dave, could you hit a girl? Would you do that?
I don't know.
That's the problem.
Honestly, my strategy would just to weave and try to outmaneuver you basically, but I feel like you have the endurance more than I do, so I'd probably win.
I've fought guys before, so honestly, just go for it.
All right, we can make this happen. Once Corona's over, we're making this a thing. For sure.
Training full out. We'll do a whole documentary UFC. Oh yeah.
I'm down.
Me and Joe Commence will be the commentators.
Oh, I love that. That's amazing.
That'd be fun. All right. Well, that's jeez. Dave, what do you think?
Interesting. Yeah, very interesting career just everything. You're a very interesting person for sure. That's awesome.
All right.
From soccer to track to boxing. That's amazing.
Boxing. Yeah. Dave, you got anything else?
No, I think she's answered all the questions I had for today.
All right, Joe, thanks for coming on. We appreciate it.
Thank you guys for having me on. I love this. This is awesome.
All right, do it again sometime.
For sure.
Sounds good to me.
All right.
You have anything else? Any other?
Right. So yes, my new topic. So we're gonna play a little game. All right. So the game is, I'm going to tell you some key cast members in a movie. What you guys have to do is you have to try to figure out what movie it is. It's multiple choice, so it kind of narrows it down. All right.
Right.
Okay. And you guys can also, if you guys want to, if you guys don't know who the actor or actress is, you can go ahead and Google that person to kind of see what their face is. But don't, obviously look up all of them together.
Yeah.
Okay. You guys ready?
Sure.
Uh-huh.
All right. So in this movie number 1, cast Antonio Banderas. We have Sylvester Stallone. We have George Clooney. We have Elijah Wood. And we have Selena Gomez. Your options are A, Madagascar 3, B, Batman and Robin, C, Spy Kids 3D Game Over, or D, The Muppets Movie. Dave? Would you like me to say the names again?
Yeah, one more time.
Okay, so we have the cast: Antonio Banderas, Sylvester Stallone. We also have Danny Trejo. He's the guy from Machete. George Clooney, Elijah Wood, and Selena Gomez. Your options again: Madagascar 3, Batman and Robin, Spy Kids 3, or The Muppets Movie.
Huh.
Any guesses? It's an interesting cast to say the
Yo,
least.
yeah, I was gonna. Because George Clooney, it makes
Steve
sense.
Buscemi's in it too.
The fact that you said all these names and it wasn't like a Sicario or like an action movie is severely disappointing to me.
Yeah, I was thinking it was that movie with I forget the name. I don't remember what it's
Well, when
called.
you said Antonio Banderas, I'm like, oh, Sicario, and then I had no clue from there.
I thought you
But
were talking about
Dave,
Puss
what
in
are
Boots.
you guessing?
I gotta say Spy Kids 3. If I remember Spy Kids, because I'm not sure if I'm picking things up. But I think I saw Antonio Banderas in Spy Kids, or am I just hallucinating, or just?
I'll go Muppets movie.
Yo, okay.
Dave is right. It is Spy Kids.
Yo,
3.
no way, no way,
Selena
yo,
Gomez in the third Spy Kids.
I
yo.
don't know what character she plays, but yes, she is in it. She was obviously much younger, but George Clooney somehow made a cameo in that movie. Antonio Banderas plays like an actual, like really important character. Somewhere in there is Elijah Wood, the guy from Lord of the Rings, and yeah, it's just a packed cast for a pretty.
Yeah. Again, like Joe was saying though, like this sounds like an action movie.
Salma Hayek's in this movie. What? It's like the biggest. Yeah, Antonio Banderas. You got Steve Buscemi, George Clooney, Danny Trejo. What in the world? Selena Gomez. Oh, Selena Gomez was Water Park Girl. All right,
Water Park Girl,
sick.
there you go.
Elijah Wood was the guy.
The guy.
The guy.
He was the guy.
Cheech was in it from Cheech and Chong.
Yes, Cheech was in it. Yeah.
So many people for
Yeah,
no
wait, what kind of
reason.
movies? I gotta watch this movie now.
It's a Disney
Sylvester
movie.
Stallone's
Dave.
in it
Watch
too.
on
Like
Disney
that's the crazy
Plus.
thing.
Yeah, Sylvester Stallone's in this movie. I didn't know about it.
He plays the villain. All right, so now we're gonna guess over under for Rotten Tomatoes score. Okay, so the over under is 50%.
I was gonna guess like in the 50s. I'm gonna go. Well, it's a kid's. I'll go under. Why not?
Dave?
Well, Dave, just go. You got it. Don't. You can either agree with me or go against me.
By the cast alone, I feel like it should be above 50 because it's very action packed here. Like,
That's where you're wrong, Dave. It's a 45%.
Yeah.
what? Why? Dude, it has
Spy
Sylvester
Kids,
Stallone
Dave.
in. It doesn't
Dave,
matter.
it's called Spy Kids 3. That's why.
Dude,
What?
Sylvester Stallone. I forget all their names already. But dude. Oh, whatever.
All right, so this one's gonna be a little bit tougher because there aren't like Spy Kids 3 has a crazy good cast, but this one is a little bit tougher. So you guys can if you'd like, can look up some of the actors in it. Try to get you a good gauge on. All right, so in this movie, the main character is played by Nicolas Cage. So you have him. You have
National Treasure.
You have Wes Bentley. You have Eva Mendes. You have Rebel Wilson and Sam Elliott. All right. Your hint is it is a superhero movie, so it's either A, Daredevil, B, Ghost Rider, C, Green Lantern, or D, The Fantastic Four.
Ghost Rider. It has to be Ghost Rider.
Yeah, I'm with Dave on this one.
It has to be Ghost Rider.
It's not going to be. I can tell by looking at your face. It's not Ghost Rider.
Yo,
It's Ghost Rider, yeah.
I was
Okay,
gonna
it
say,
is
I
Ghost
remember,
Rider. All
I remember Nicolas Cage being in Ghost Rider. They were horrible movies. Don't get me wrong, but like, I remember him. He was the only cool part about the movie. Everything else sucked about it.
All right. Rotten Tomatoes score. All right, we're gonna go over under 20%.
Under 20%.
I'll go over like 21. Like, I'm guess it's even below that.
26% we have for Ghost
What?
Rider.
I'm
So it is
2 for
over.
2.
You are 2 for 2.
Let's go.
Okay, so this last movie here, this one's a little. I don't know how I landed on this movie, but this is the cast. So we have Chris Hemsworth, Josh Peck, Josh Hutcherson, and Jeffrey Dean Morgan. All right, and your options are The Hunger Games 2, The Cabin in the Woods, Drake and Josh Go to Hollywood, and Red Dawn.
Red Dawn.
Dave?
Sure, I'll go with Red Dawn too.
Yeah, it was Red Dawn.
Red Dawn's solid movie.
I thought I was gonna get you guys with Cabin in the Woods. I thought I was gonna get you, but.
I was gonna go with Hunger Games.
I just come to be shot because you said Josh Peck. And like the only movie Josh Peck and that's not named Drake and Josh is Red Dawn. He was like a quarterback. It was so weird because like I've so seen him being like the awkward little fat kid. And he was like the star of the football team in this movie. And I'm like, that's weird. That's not right.
What is that movie about?
So basically, Dave, North Korea and Russia invade the U.S. and North Korea takes the entire West Coast and Russia takes the entire East Coast. And basically, the center of America is like still free.
Yeah, okay.
But the best part was, Dave, in the old. I never saw the original Red Dawn. It was big in the 80s, but my dad saw it. He told me in the original movie, it was North Korea and Russia, but then in the South, the Nicaraguan and Jamaican armies invaded the South and took the Southern. Yes.
I forgot that country existed until now.
It's like Nicaragua, Cuba, and then like Jamaica invaded the South and took over the Southern U.S. and like the entire USA was completely destroyed in like a week.
So who does the United States call to help fight back? They call Josh Peck, obviously.
Yeah, the high school, the Wolverines. That was their mascot. I remember because it was the first day of Anderson being a head coach again, and we were in the weight room at 6 a.m. and he's doing like the bench, but it's not the bench. It's like you're sitting. It's kind of like I don't know. It's like it's called like an inverted bench press, something like that. And he starts screaming, Wolverines, because we had Oxford in the first game, and it's like 6 a.m, and I'm looking around. I'm like, oh my gosh, the world is ending. It's Wolverines. Man, that's how I remember Red Dawn.
I missed that guy, Chris Anderson.
Okay, over under. We're gonna go once again 20% over under. Red Dawn.
I like that movie. I'm going over. I really enjoy that movie.
I'll go over too.
14%, ladies and gentlemen. Red Dawn.
14%.
Under. See here, but it's one of those movies. It's one of those movies though where the critics gave it a 14%, but the audience score is 51%.
Oh.
Well, typically the audience are right for the most part.
The only one.
Hi guys, what's up?
What's going on, Michael?
Shout out beef up
front. There you go.
PA. Thanks on the podcast.
Thank you.
That was Michael Kometz.
All right. Do you guys want to do things we like, things we hate, or skipping?
Are we doing? You skipping that? Up to you guys. I mean,
no, Dave. Dave, it's your podcast, dude.
Yeah, Dave, you're running the show today.
I guess. Okay. Well, first of all, I'll do my random topic thing first, and then I'll do that.
All right.
So, guys, I was watching Wolverine and the X-Men, right? This was like the 80s or whatever, 80s or 90s show. And I was thinking to myself, dude, Wolverine is the most useless character of all time. I don't get the hype. I don't get why Wolverine is labeled. Dude, he's useless, dude. All right. Okay. Hear me out here. All right. Everyone on the X-Men basically has some kind of like cool power. Like they could fire beams from their eyes, or like fire things from their hands, or like become like ginormous or whatever. But Wolverine's power is literally he could heal, and he has to go up close to you and like try to swipe at you. And let me tell you, the villain they fight the most, Magneto, right? The villain or whatever, he controls metal, and guess what Wolverine is made of? Metal. So like he's useless. I don't know why they have him on the team. He's basically like the guy, like the frontline man, basically. That's because the only reason why they have him on the team, really, in my opinion, is because he could go up there and take the punishments.
Because he's a stud, Dave. That's why he's on the team.
He is cool looking.
Yeah, sure, but like I'm thinking practicality here. Because why bring this guy with the claws when I could just get this woman who controls the weather? First of all, summon lightning, destroy everything, and I'll call it there. We're done. Boom, we're out.
I feel like we are talking about the X-Men here, so they are a team. I feel like maybe against Magneto, Wolverine maybe sits one out.
No, he goes on there. He's running at the guy head first, and I'm like, well, he has to do.
Maybe he's the hype man, Dave. Maybe he's the hype man. Everyone needs a hype man.
There's some like dumb excuse, like in the comic book world, it's like they're not actual metal. It's like carbon filament, and it's not magnetic, and that's how he can.
Because remember one of the movies, Magneto literally picked up Wolverine and like tied like some kind of metal thing around him and dropped him off the ocean, and he drowned, or he was drowning. That's another thing too. He can't swim because he has the metal bones in him. He can't swim. So useless right there. Everyone else can do it. So.
Isn't he like a mortal though?
What?
Isn't he like a mortal?
The only way I know in the comics or whatever, the only way you could kill Wolverine is by let him drown because he still needs oxygen. There's like a special blade you could use to like cut off his head, and then when you do that, it's basically game over. That's probably it. But for the most part, he is immortal. If those things don't happen to him, he could live forever. But like at the same time, I personally think he's just useless. The only reason why they have him on there is because he could track things and run at things with his knife. That's about it.
Or Dave, because of what you just said, he can't die unless you get a special thing to cut off his head. And if you're not fighting in the middle of the ocean, it's a pretty good guy to have on your team.
Yeah, but what does his immortality do for the team? What if it's a bad guy, like like some very dangerous bad guy? He lives and everyone else is dead because he couldn't do much. So what's the deal here?
That's the whole point though, Dave. Then guess what? Send in Wolverine. He could take then he gets to know what he can do. Then you send in the team. Boom, win.
I don't know. I personally think
I was never a big X-Men guy. The old X-Men movies kind of suck.
Oh yeah, they did suck. The only
I watched
one
the newer ones, like what's his face? The new ones you thought, Dave?
The new ones, the only one I liked was the one with Days of Future Past. That was about it. With the robots.
Series, Days of Future Past, and then like that whole series. That was the best X-Men series.
Yeah. Then they come up with like Apocalypse and then like the Phoenix whatever, and those were terrible. They ruined Apocalypse.
I didn't see the Phoenix one.
Don't watch it.
But I heard it sucked.
Cheeks, dude. It's literally ass cheeks. Don't watch it, dude.
Hey Dave, I thought you guys tried to run a nice clean podcast here. All right.
Oh, you said the F word not long ago. I have to tell you.
Yeah, you're something else, Dave. Throwing me under the bus like that.
I'm so sorry. I'm sorry.
A lot of nerve.
All right, guys. I guess we're moving on to our things we hate and like corner, I guess.
Okay, Dave. I think you're first today, buddy.
All right. Let's see. Things I like. Actually, I can't. I'm trying to think.
Say it.
Just say it, Dave.
I like some of our summer plans we have so far. Some of our summer plans so far. I'm looking forward to those things.
Hopefully they'll get canceled.
Well, yeah, exactly. Like our vacations and other stuff too. That's what I'm looking forward to. That's been the only thing keeping me sane so far. It's give me the will to live, basically.
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. And things I hate. I hate cardio, dude. I hate cardio with a passion. I can't stand cardio. I don't know why I do it, but I do it all the time. And every time, like me personally, before I do cardio, I don't know why, but I have like this anxiety thing, and it kind of kills the whole mojo. But I get into it, but like that anxiety phase it's horrible. So I don't know. That's just I couldn't think of anything good. Those are the things I could think of right now. So I'm sorry, guys. That's all I got.
So you get anxiety from doing cardio?
Before cardio.
So Dave, just don't do as much cardio. There's problem solved.
Yes, that's true. All right, Joe, your turn, I guess.
This is me. Wow. Well, one thing I don't like. Today was the first day since quarantine started where the boredom is really starting to hit me. The boredom is at an all-time high today because I started All American. I finished out in like 5 days. The TV show All American. I watched some other oddball shows here and there, like short series. Boom, got them all out of the way. Now I need another new show to watch. I'm bored out of my mind. I've watched The Office for the 85 millionth time.
Trailer Park Boys.
No, just because you're telling me to watch it. No, it's probably funny, but I don't want. One show I have.
It's not funny.
What do you mean it's not funny?
I have no desire to watch.
This is a debate for another day. You know what? Yeah.
All right, fine. Fair enough, Dave. The thing I like is that we are getting closer to the end of social distancing. and I'm seeing a lot of sports leagues starting to come up with plans for the remainder of their seasons and for, this upcoming season for the fall sports. But yeah, for the most part, I mean, we did just record. The last episode we did was a couple days ago. Just not a lot's happened in the past few days.
Yeah, Monday.
For us to really talk about.
I think it's basically the hospitalizations have gone down like every day for the past 6 or 7 days. That's
really
good. Baseball, they were talking about maybe start doing that coming up. Like they're already kind of getting plans. They're just waiting on the New York teams, the Mets and the Yankees, kind of get cleared up a little bit. And then I read something today, like the basketball for the NBA, they're thinking about maybe just like playing it down at Disney. I guess there's courts over in Orlando. Play some of the playoff games over there. So, I mean, I'd be down. I don't really care. As long as we have sports back.
I just need something to watch at this point.
Yeah, I know.
Even if it's something that's not 2K tournament BS related and not a horse. I need actual.
Yeah, I saw some guys
sports.
playing they were playing Roblox on ESPN2, and I was like, man.
That's a cool thing. That's amazing to me, and not in a good way. Like
ESPN2 typically is like a Sunbelt football game at like
Sunbelt football game on a Tuesday night. Nothing goes wrong.
That's on ESPN2. I'd rather watch that than freaking Roblox.
That's my kind of football. Watching some Funbelt Tuesday night action. Then some action on ESPNU. Nothing's better. The Tuesday night November games where there's like 10 people in the stands. That's how you do social distancing. Just have a Sunbelt and MAC football schedule, but every game's on a Tuesday night. And that starts at 8 p.m. where, normally I'm like, oh man, it's 5 degrees out and it's Tuesday night. Do I want to go watch my 0-11 Akron Zips or do I want to stay in my room? I'll choose stay in my room.
That's one way to do it.
Solid.
All right, things I like, things I hate. Things I like free barbecue. Today, we had a food truck come over to Oliver's, and they gave us free barbecue for the day. So I got some pulled chicken.
Ooh, you
pretty
love
fire.
That.
Gotta love that. They had they were pretty cool. They had like cornhole there. We played some cornhole while we were eating. So it was a nice long break, and it was kind of nice to kind of get out of the store a little bit, kind of just hang out and not. What's up, Dave?
How is business at your place right now?
Booming.
Slowing down. Oh
Booming.
God.
Shut
Booming.
up, man.
No, it's still pretty good.
Yeah. Is it?
Less people are coming out, so a lot of our business is actually coming out of the people are picking up their groceries, curbside pickup, and deliveries too. So
yeah, it's also slowing down at BJ's too. It's not as hectic as it was, but still,
I was gonna say I went to BJ's to get gas up in Waterbury, and it was like pretty dead, which is kind of surprising. Except for all days, like my dad, has been up there a couple times recently with me. There's never a line for gas. Today, it took me 20 minutes to get gas.
Typically, I don't get gas at BJ's.
Insane.
I'm like, can't do it.
Really? Why would you not?
You should.
It's so much.
I should. Oh, I know that.
If you remember, I got gas today for $1.19 a gallon.
Oh, I know. The gas is ridiculous there. I just don't have patience to wait in line for the cars. When I get out,
it's $1 a gallon less.
I'd rather just. I mean, it's also like $2 in whatever other places too. I mean, it's not that bad in most places.
Dave, over 10 gallons, that's an extra $10. And if you get even more, like let's say you're on E and you fill up, that's 20 extra bucks. It's a lot of money.
I'm just saying I'm not a patient person, so yeah.
Neither am I, but for money, I'll be patient.
Maybe not me. All right, what do you hate, Matt?
Broken doorbells. So apparently there's been complaints lately coming in that I'll drop off people's groceries on their front doorstep doing these deliveries, and they won't know that I did it. And my thought is that either A, people are old and don't have their hearing aids on, or B, their doorbell's broken. Because some of these doorbells that I'm going up to, dude, they're cracked, and at least if you're expecting a delivery, number one, be at your door because you know that I'm coming that day, and two, make a sign saying the doorbell doesn't work.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the thing I don't. That's the thing I hate.
You guys should almost do kind of like like DoorDash, like you can text oh, hi, your delivery's here.
Yeah,
You
but they're
guys should
old
do
people,
something
though.
like
They're old people. It's
See,
typically
see,
delivered
here's
to,
the
like,
thing. Exactly. Then
prostitutes.
I'd have to talk to them, and then they'd be like, "Oh, you're in front of my house now. Hold on." Like I had one lady the other day. I told her, "Okay, I'm," because she said specifically to call her before. So I'm at my stop. I go, "Okay, I'm on my way right now. I'll be there in like 5-10 minutes." Then like 2 minutes later, she calls me back. She goes, "Okay, I'm here." I'm like, look, ma'am, I said like 5 or 10 minutes. I'll be there. So that's kind of the problem. It's like if you call them, they kind of.
So shoot them a text. Who cares, dude? At this point, like, if they can get if they have a
Most
phone,
of them
give them
most of them don't even have a cell phone, Joe.
See, now that's an issue.
And they're
Then you
also old
honestly, you know,
people.
you should just tell them though. Like, then at that point, be like, "Hi, Mrs. A selfie. Your delivery is coming here at 2 in the afternoon, and at 2 p.m., you know, that's when it will be dropped off." And then it's on them if they don't go out till 4. You know what I mean? Because at
Yeah,
that
that's true.
point, if you know, like, you know, if you're not doing it, it's like they're doing anything else. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's true, Joe. Maybe I should do that.
Just tell them, listen, if your order's coming at 2, you should be at your door by 2 o'clock.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay. You know what, Joe? I think that's a good idea. That completely defeats the whole broken doorbell thing.
I got your back, man. You know, I don't want these people. I don't want to let these people, you know, get you in trouble for,
It's hard.
you know,
It's hard. It's hard, man.
delivering them food. You know, because without you,
Doing them a
they're
favor,
fucked.
yeah.
They have no
Exactly.
food.
There's this one lady. You want to hear this? There's this one lady, right? So we cannot accept any more returns, right? So because as soon as they leaves the store, we have to just immediately throw it out. So this one lady, I go into her house the other day and I drop off her things and she pulls out these Keebler peanut butter and jelly crackers and she goes, "Oh, I can't have this. Like, bring this back." And I'm like, "You know what, man?" It's like, listen, it's like, we're not accepting returns right now. You can call them, say we got the wrong ones, and I'm sure they'll credit you, but like, just keep the crackers. And she would not take the crackers. Like, she demanded me take it and put it. I'm like,
You know
"Ma'am,
what you got to do?
just try the crackers."
Take the crackers from her. Get hand sanitizer wipes in your car and wipe it down. You got free crackers because the food on the inside is vacuum sealed.
That's
So
what
there
I
you
keep
go.
saying. That's what I keep saying. I'll go back because this is like the third time she's done this, where she just gives me like all her returns. Just be like, "Guys, we got free food thanks to this."
You know,
Thanks
just wipe
to-
it down. If it's like sealed,
Exactly.
obviously.
I mean, she
then
gave me
they-
like today. She gave me like, I think, a Reynolds wrap. Like, how bad could that be?
Let's say, you know, you got more wrap.
And it was a heavy duty big thing of Reynolds wrap too. It wasn't like something small.
Can't
So,
go wrong with too much wrap.
no. Especially nowadays where things can.
facts.
I don't know. There could be a run on anything, I feel like, at this point. Okay, so we hit the 46-minute mark. A little shorter than usual, but that's all right. Kind of pulled this one together. A little bit different. We're trying to switch it up a little bit. So that concludes another episode of the Hicksey Nana podcast. Stay tuned for more. Everyone stay safe out there. We'll see you soon.
Peace out.
Peace.